So, hi. Who is here to enjoy the evening ride with me? Iyo vani kyegerimu obwana nga 15. One, two, one. So when you get here, give me a shout out. Yes, Stuart. Yes, I'm back for good. So I think it was yesterday I had yes, Tarzan, thank you for being here. I'm going to do the northern bypass for like I think 20 kilometers. It is. Yeah, so you guys are going to enjoy the view. Hi Seth. Yeah, so I'm going to be talking about cars that you can buy for 6 or below 6 million or below. Now guy side mirror. So and there are many cars, by the way. So a follower of mine yesterday came. He wants to, he has not yet bought. Hi Kenneth, thanks for being here. So he wants to buy a car. Yeah, I'm here now. He wants to buy a car for between 3 to 4 million. And see the view, that's Nambole Stadium. Yeah, they even blocked the road up there, so that's why I had to move. So up ahead, if you head up ahead, you head to Bweyogere and then you can head on to Jinja. Yeah, but that's not where we're going. We're going to go the other side of town, northern bypass, as we head to Busega. And I love the view. I hope you do too. So so we're going to be talking about cars that you can buy for 6 million and below, and they're quite a number. As a matter of fact, I have a friend who is selling a Toyota Corsa at 6 million. I'm sure you can bargain, of course. So there are quite a number of cars that you can buy there. So if you have a question, you can post it here. Tomorrow I'm going to be uploading a very interesting video. It's not the normal video that you normally see. So this road is doing 70 kilometers per hour, and I try as much as possible to adhere to the speed limits because it's safe. And it also keeps you safe from Toyota Mark II 2002. That's the Mark II Grand. That's why they call the Grand, right? Yeah. So I'm going to talk about the Mark II Grand, don't worry. So it also keeps you safe. There is that forest there. I don't know who owns those trees, but it's a very nice thing for our environment. Yeah. By that, so made me think of Ractis. Kindly enlighten me more on that if you have time. Thanks. Okay. Okay, Seth. But we also have a review video of the Ractis that I did with Council Yunus himself. We reviewed his own Ractis, but we also reviewed another Ractis that is driven by a lawyer friend of his. So we did two. I think we did a 2008 and a 2005, I think, and we also covered the differences of both cars. So yeah, but I'm going to talk about it briefly. And you see there is police almost everywhere, but I think these ones are trying to enforce something. These are not normal traffic police. This might be URA or something. Yeah, indeed it's URA. They're trying to enforce something, I think. So the Toyota Mark II 2002 is what we call the Mark II Grand. The 2002 is actually the last Mark II that was made before they started making Mark X, because then Mark X started in 2003. Yeah, but of course there are two versions of the Toyota Mark II Grand. You can only differentiate them with the lights, the front lights, the indicators. The Mark II Grand 2002 model, the indicators run across the entire headlamp. You see, the indicator runs across the headlamp. Yet the earlier models of because I think Toyota Mark II Musota stopped at 2000, then 2001 they made the Grand, then 2002 they made the last generation of the Mark II, which is what you have, the 2002. The Mark II Grand and the Mark II Musota, of course there are versions of the Mark II Musota that don't have this engine, but the Mark II Grand and the Mark II Musota that have BIM's 2000 engine are the same cars, by the way. Maintenance is almost the same. Now what happens is that the Mark II Grand shares spares with the Altezza. It shares spares with the Altezza, and if you're driving an Altezza, the one that has basically all these spares, the shocks, suspension, it's all the same. But of course the Altezza has a very low resale value. The Mark II, on the other hand, yes, the resale value for the Mark II as well is not that good, but at least it's better than the Altezza. Yeah. So if you were to compare two cars, Altezza and Mark II, I would recommend that you buy the Mark II any day. For starters, I'll tell you that the Mark II Tefa, the Mark II doesn't break down unless it only happens if you don't really maintain the car. But if you maintain the car, the Mark II Grand doesn't break down. It only has one challenge, the same thing that the Altezza has, the same thing that the, what is this car? The Toyota Brevis. Never buy that thing. Yeah, it will make you think one of your singers is bewitching you. Never buy that thing. So those cars have one problem, and it's that they have the ball joints. You need to replace the ball joints often. I think every 4 to 5 months. That's the only sickness those cars have. The only advantage is that the ball joints only break when you're going slow. They don't break when you're going at a fast speed. That's the advantage, but the ball joints, the Ekuswaza, and their ball joints are not cheap. They are not cheap, especially when you break down on the road. People will sell to you at whatever price they have. You just have to pray that it doesn't break down very early in the morning or late in the night, because very early in the morning, spare shops are not open, mechanics are not yet at their workshops. Yeah, the same applies to night. Workshops are closed, spare shops are closed. Yeah, so that's, for me, that's the only problem I find with the Mark II. Other than that, of course, it's 2000cc. It's not 2.5 like most people say. It's 2000cc. I think I'm coming down the call. So it's 2000cc. But contrary to what people say, unless your car is in very bad condition, a 2000cc car can actually consume very, very well. The 2000cc, it can drive. You can drive a liter for 10 kilometers. Yes, you can. And of course, this is one thing that most people don't know. But you have to make sure it has good plugs. Remember those Mark IIs, they use 6 plugs. So if you have a car that uses 6 plugs and you give it, it has 2 bad plugs, you have to give it a good air cleaner, of course. Yeah. Simply, you just have to make sure that you maintain that car properly. Give it the right size tire size. Normally, when people buy Mark IIs, Altezzas, and all those big cars, they give them bigger tires. Normally, those cars are made for racing. And because they are made for racing, okay, they are made for fast speed, not racing. And because that is what they are made for, you see, up ahead we have the Kayola bus. So you didn't get a Kayola. on the hill, there is a Kayola bus, those electric buses that are now being driven on the northern bypass. I think they take people to Kweyogere and then Busega. Yeah, it's up there. They are assembled in Uganda, not made in Uganda. You see how beautiful this northern bypass is? Yeah. So what I'm saying is that you should, if you want to buy a Mark II, buy, but make sure it is in good condition. Make sure the engine does not smoke. Okay, and make sure, because the tires are quite expensive, the tires for the Mark II go for about 250k, and for you to buy tires for that car, you'll have to spend $1 million and above. So you either buy and make sure you have $1 million standing by. And of course, the other biggest challenge that these cars have, the Mark IIs, they are rear wheel drives. It means that if you're if you drive in slippery roads, there are times you'll get stuck. Yeah, because they are rear wheel drives. The reason why those cars get slippery during those times is, one, it is simply because in the boot normally it's empty, and if the boot is empty, it means the car is light behind. So if the car gets all its power from behind, the tires will get slippery because the road is slippery. That's the reason why front wheel drives are not slippery, because they are loaded, they have weight in front, the engine is heavy. So the engine exerts pressure on the tires, and when it exerts pressure on the tires cannot get slippery. That's why in taxis, when a taxi gets slippery, they tell people to go in there so that you can make it heavy and it can start to move. I hope you get me. But other than that, Mark II is a very good car, so you can drive. Make sure it's in good, and the 2002 model is her. That's a very, if I were to buy a 2000cc car, I think that would be my first choice. Just know they don't die. I hope I've talked about that one. And then the Ractis. The Ractis is a very good car. You just need to buy a 1.5cc version. Don't buy the 1.3. Yeah, don't buy the 1000cc. I think it has 1000 and 1.5. Why? Because already 1.5cc is a weak engine. So if you were to decide to buy, a 1000cc engine car, it would actually but normally don't drive while you use the phone also. So I would advise you buy a 1.5cc engine. Let me show you. That's a 1.8. I want us to enjoy a little. I have my family in here though, but it doesn't kill. Should we enjoy? Okay. The Mark II you can get between. Woo! You guys, you feel that? You feel my Corolla engine? And I'm going to overtake that 1.8cc Primo. Yoo-hoo! Ha! Do you feel that? Yeah, we are going 120. Now it's 110. I hope police does not come for me. Misuse of Computer Misuse Act. Should I reduce? Woo! Hi, Nicholas. There is no space for me to overtake this Primo, but Mbadenji married Deco. Woo! This is fun. You felt the speed, guys? Did you feel my engine? And I'm not in Uganda. Should the police want to arrest a computer misuse, I'm in Rwanda. The problem is I've reached my stop. So hi guys again. Speed is good, especially when you're not in Uganda but you're in Rwanda. Yeah, I'm in Rwanda today. Yeah, so the Ractis, excitement on the road with your family is not a good idea. Thank you, Stuart. My wife has been telling me to go faster. You'll be surprised. She's the one that was enjoying. So the Ractis, the Mark II you can get between 8 to 12 million. And of course, one of the things you'll need to replace are the tires. you get are the tires. Ejo joji bate jiriko most of the times. Na yewe onojifuna million nga 12 mpira jija kubako. So let's see. Ractis. Yeah, Tarzan, I think we have talked about the Mark II. Just because the Grand is a little expensive than the Mosota. It's actually more expensive than the Alteza. Yeah, more expensive than the Alteza, and but it's also the resale value is kind of high. So if you want to resell, you'll get still a higher offer. So you can think about that. Ractis, it's a good car. Of course, Ractis, like Rumion, those are new cars on the road. So if they have any problems, those problems have not been reported anywhere. So that's one thing you need to know, because Zakajakukubo. So you buy it knowing that mechanics have not really fixed those cars that much. But of course there are problems. You realize that they are the normal problems. If it overheats, yeah. Hi Charles. Yeah, if it overheats and neocha the gasket, so they have to open the cylinder head and replace the gasket. Though that's one thing I don't like. That's why I keep my eye on the temperature gauge to make sure that my car never overheats. I don't want to open my engine, because once the engine is open, things can never be the same again. You see? Honda Fit. I want to be very careful with my choice of words. Why would you choose the Honda Fit though? That's a very important question. You want to be unique, right? The most reliable Honda on the road is the CRV Honda. The CRV Honda is the most reliable Honda on the road. All these other Hondas are not reliable. Cutting. What you need to realize, Solomon, if you count 50 cars and you don't see the car you're talking about there, Jason, you leave it. If you count 50 cars, leave it, don't buy it. Do you know what that means? It means the spares are few, the people that import that car are few. Probably if anyone even imported that car, they did it by mistake. Okay? You also need to know that even the mechanics that fix it are few. Yeah? So you need to understand and then leave it. Actually, today, I think the most reliable car on the road would be the Toyota Fielder, because you cannot count 10 cars without seeing a Fielder. You cannot count 10 cars without finding a Toyota Fielder, okay? You cannot count 30 cars without seeing a Toyota Wish. I think those two cars today are the most popular cars on the road, because I did it, I counted myself. And I did that for like an hour as I was driving. Yes, I was multitasking. So, if you count 50 cars and the car you're talking about is not there, leave it alone. There is a reason why it's not there. If you count 20 cars and one of your cars, you have some water. This thing is overheating. Yeah, so let me just go and wet this thing. So I'll just get some water here. So if you count 50 cars and your car is not there, Jason, you will buy another car. No, I don't need a bottle. So you count, I'll just deal with my Samsung here. It's saying some things that are not really nice. So, Honda Fit, I don't want to say that it's a bad car, no. Currently I don't believe that there is any bad car. No, I don't believe there is any bad car. However, I believe some cars are good. Okay, some cars. You're correcting my English. Some cars are better than others. And normally when I'm recommending for people to buy cars, I tell them, buy this car, Toyota Hilux double cabin, second hand in good condition. And can it be a first car? Yes, you can buy it. It can be your first car. You can buy the Hilux as a first car. Yeah, there is a fuel tanker here. I'll just go over it. So you can buy a Hilux as a first car. Actually, the Hilux is not very hard to maintain. It's not hard to maintain. Even the spares are available. They are very available. They are very available. If you have a business mind, then the Hilux will actually be a very good thing, because it can do business, it can do swagger driving, and it has very high resale value. But if you get a Hilux for below 20 million, chances are high that you're going to invest another 20. Okay, so most cases, even when you bought a Hilux even if you had to buy a Hilux and it was at about 25, you still need to invest about 5 to put it up to the standard that normally that we want to drive those cars at. So it's important for you to understand. But it's a very good car. The resale value is high, higher than most cars that we talk about here. So if you have the money to buy the Hilux, of course it won't be the model that is in front of me. It will be the older model. Normally when people are buying, when they are buying Hiluxes and they have a small budget, they buy the older models. Now that one, the one in front of us, is actually quite high. You find it at about 70 million, and people will be fighting to buy it. So the Hilux is very highly priced, but it's worth the money. No, I think people that buy Hiluxes are just like people that buy Subarus. They are what should I say? They are what you would call passionate. Abayagala Hilux most of the times. So they will buy the Hilux because they want it, and they will look after it, they'll modify it and all that. So I hope I've answered you. So just to go back for the Ractis is a good car. Buy it if you can. But like I've said, it's still new on the road. It's still new on the road. So the problems have not been seen. So probably maybe 2 years from now, they would know where the weakness is. Of course, it has a CVT engine, which our mechanics have not yet learned how to fix properly. The spares are also very expensive. The CVT gearbox is not automatic, it's CVT. They call it continuous variable transmission. So it doesn't really have gears. Mazda Blante, I know you don't recommend Mazdas, but what do you think about it in particular? I think I've seen the Mazda Blante. The first time I saw the Mazda Blante, it was in a garage. It was brand new when UBK had just come, A guy had just bought it, UBK, and it had a problem in the electronics, and they had failed to find it. So there is, I think in Masana, for a guy that does wiring, he's like, his garage does only wiring. So when the guys that the owners, the mechanics of the owner failed to find the problem, they took it to this guy, and he also failed to find the problem. So the problem was something to do with the cooling system. And I think it was a newer model though. So it had a problem with the cooling system, and they failed to figure it out. So he packed it. He's a rich person, of course, and he got another car and went. And he said, when you figure out the problem, you tell me. You get. But that's, of course, problems don't happen to all cars. But that was my first experience with that Mazda Blante, and that's how they pronounce it. The Mazda, yeah, Blante. You pronounce it Blante. Yeah, that was the first experience I had with the Mazda. But Mazdas in general are like Volkswagens. Some of those cars, it doesn't matter how good you maintain them. When they decide to start breaking down, they'll break down, and they'll leave a dent in your pocket. So, but you can buy it, and I would recommend that if you're buying a car like a Mazda, go to the bond and be the first owner and check it thoroughly. If you're the first owner, it will take some time before it starts disturbing you. Okay, I don't recommend that you buy it old, used here. It's like buying a drone that is used. you may get problems that you don't know. Because majority of the time, when a person buys a Mazda from the bond, they buy it because it looks nice. They buy it because it's comfortable. You get. And when they decide to sell, the comfort has not gone away. And normally those cars are sold at new number plates at a very unbelievable offers. You can find the UBK being sold at 8 million, 9 million. The reason is, one, it has started disturbing him, and he has no idea what the problem is. You get. So but you can buy it and enjoy it. Sometimes all it takes is for you to experience something, and then you start making your own decisions. You get. So so if you have a chance to buy the Blante and you have the money, but I would recommend that you buy it from the bond. One thing you need to know is the problem is actually not the cars. The problem is that our mechanics have no idea how to fix these cars. They know Toyota too much, and some mechanics know Mercedes-Benz too much, and there are others that have become experts at Subaru as well. Okay? But there are types of cars that mechanics have not yet mastered. The Hondas, the Mazdas. Mechanics baba betetenkanya. And you don't want to buy a car ngaba mechanic bagenda baba jetetenkanyi zako. You don't want to buy a car, you look for spare parts, you don't find them, and then they tell you take a Toyota Ipsum. You don't want to have that. Okay? So I hope I'm clear. So I'm going to go to cars you can buy. We have only driven for 28 minutes. So cars you can buy at 6 million and below. The first car is, of course, the car that you people like, the Toyota RAV4, the first generation, of course. The Toyota RAV4, like I think I talked about this car some time back, and I was telling you how the Toyota RAV4 has kind of lost the resale value. I told you how the Toyota RAV4 has been replaced by a number of cars, of course, including the Harrier, the Kruger, and of course, even the newer generations of the RAV4 are not that popular. Why? Because the newer generations of the RAV4 are 2.4cc, yet you can get a Harrier Kawundo 2.4cc, which is much more comfortable. You get what I'm saying? So the RAV4, you can get it at 6 million, and it would be a buy and drive. Now, one thing that people don't understand about old cars, tell him muntu agula motoka nkadde nga teriimu byakkanika. Let me repeat it. You can't buy a used car. You see, even cars from the bond, they still have things that need to be fixed. Tell him muntu agula motoka nkadde nga temuli byakkanika. If you're ever going to buy a used car, even in the bond, just know that you have things to fix. Now, the old car, the one that has moved on the Ugandan roads, has more things to be fixed than the bond car. But even the Bond cars have things that you will have to fix. I hope you understand me. The old car has more things to fix than the Bond car. But still, even the Bond car has things to fix. Now, how does the math add up? You buy a Toyota RAV4 at 6 million. Chances are high that the gearbox has an issue. The RAV4s have an issue of the gearbox knocking when you engage gear number 1. But according to RAV4 owners, that's not a problem. They are used to it. So I hope you get that. So it has only that problem. Normally people, when they get tired of that, they sell the car. So that's, I'm talking about the first generation. First and second generation, they have that issue. But you can get a RAV4 at 5 million. You can get a RAV4 at 6 million. And if you're lucky, you can even get a RAV4 at 4.5. Yeah? If you're lucky, you can even get a RAV4 at 4.5. Yeah, but normally I want you to calculate 6 million. You can get a good RAV4. Yeah? So I just hope I'm clear enough. Of course, RAV4s are priced higher. Some people still overprice RAV4s, and the people that don't know blindly buy those cars thinking they still have a high resale value. For starters, RAV4s don't have a high resale value. That's good day. In the past, you would never find a RAV4 at 6 million. You would find a RAV4 on UAF ngabaji tuna million 10. But that is in the past. Ebintu ennaku zino byakyuka. RAV4s are very low. The second car that you can get at a low price is at 6 or below is a Toyota Ipsum. As a matter of fact, a Toyota Ipsum at 6 million should be almost new. I hope you get what I'm saying. If you buy an Ipsum at 6 million, it should be almost new, with almost nothing to repair. You get? I normally tell you, I don't recommend that you buy the Toyota Ipsum at more than 6 million. Boyingira million musanvu kati atawo bo graduating nze. Toyina gula motoka yagwa because the Toyota Ipsum was replaced a long time ago. The Toyota Wish now is the new Ipsum. It's the new workhorse. It takes the same number of people. It has the same space. You can put cargo. It doesn't break down. Yet, it has a new engine technology which never breaks down. So the Toyota Wish is the new Toyota Ipsum. It's important that we understand that. So don't buy a Toyota Ipsum at more than 6 million. And at 6 million, it should be in almost new condition. I've not said it should be in new condition. It should be in almost new condition. It should be very good. Okay? You can get an Ipsum, if you're lucky, you can even get an Ipsum at 4.5. But if you go less than 4.5, normally those ones have a problem. Even 4.5, there are things to fix. It has no tires. It has no tires. You'll find that the interior has some things to work on. You get. But normally, you just have to do the math. If it adds up for you, then you can go on and buy the Ipsum. That's the second car. We've talked about the Toyota RAV4. We have talked about the Ipsum. Yeah? Now, why am I talking about Toyotas? Because any other car bought at that amount, any other car that is not a Toyota bought at that amount is bad. I hope you get what I'm saying. You can't go and buy a Nissan at 6 million or less and you think it's in good condition. Of course, people are buying Nissan Fugas, but I don't see anyone that gets a Nissan Fuga and they drive it for a year or two. Because it disturbs them then. Or the Nissan, I've seen Nissan Gloria. Yeah, there are so many Nissans that people are driving these days, that saloon ones. Of course, they are very comfortable, much more comfortable than Toyota. But I don't recommend that you buy any other car. Hondas. No, don't buy those cars at 6 or less. At 6 million or less. The other car you can get at 6 million and less is the Toyota Primo old model. The first generation of the Toyota Primo. and I'm talking about 1999 and less. 2001, I think it was 2001, 2002, then they brought the new generation of the Primo. But 2001 Primo, you can get it at 6 million. Of course, there are others that are priced a little higher, but at 6 million, you will get a buy and drive Toyota Primo first generation. It will not be in perfect condition, but it will be buy and drive. The cars I'm telling you, you buy and drive there and then. At 6 million and below, you can get a Toyota RAV4, you can get a Toyota Ipsum. These are driven on Ugandan roads, and tojana millions of mukaga no tandika kweronda anti ate njagala UAS simanya bichi teweronda. At that amount, you should be looking out for yourself. Njagala motoka etanta wanyi. I hope I'm clear. So we have talked about the RAV4, we have talked about the Ipsum. You can get a Primo. And the advantage with the Primos is normally they are 1.8cc. And normally, if you can get a 1.8cc at 6 million, then the 2000cc version Primo should be at 5. Why? The 2000cc version of the Primo consumes a lot more fuel than the 1.8. I hope you get what I'm saying. And it doesn't have a high resale value too. So, you can get a Primo in good condition, by the way, buy and drive. You can even drive it for a month without repairing anything. Now, when I talk about drive for a month without repairing anything, I mean that there are things to repair, but you turn the blind eye and say, "Sija bekanika." I hope you get what I'm saying, because even cars from the bond, sija mulimwe byokanika nina agamba sija bekanika. I hope I'm clear. You get. So I've talked about you can get a RAV4, Ipsum, you can get a Primo. Now with the other types of cars, I think you can also get a CRV Honda. Now the CRV Honda is one of the most reliable cars on the road. It's 2000cc, enywamu kumafuta. It's also old technology, but it's one of the most reliable cars on the road. They literally never die. The Hondas, the CRVs, but it's quite expensive to maintain. And maintenance, I'm talking about you replacing the suspension system, you buying shocks. They're quite expensive, but it does eat a Toyota by like 400, 300, which if you like your Hondas is quite okay. Yeah. The other car you can get at 6 million and below is a Suzuki Escudo. You can also get a Suzuki Escudo. Now you see, guys, Toyota Zokando Zanga. So you can also get a Toyota Escudo. And now the Toyota Escudos are also quite reliable. But don't buy diesel. I don't know. For a person that is driving their personal cars, I don't recommend that you buy diesel. I would recommend that you buy a petrol. And normally in those cars that are SUV type, if you can buy manual, always buy manual. Don't buy automatic. Yeah. Because manual cars, first of all, have more power. Two, manual cars are fighters. If you're the kind of person that doesn't have big deals regularly, and you're buying your car and you want to drive it for 2 to 3 years or 5 years, I'd recommend that if you can drive manual, you buy a manual car. Yeah, the engine will live longer. The engine of manual cars lives quite long than automatic. So. We have talked about the RAV4. We have talked about the Ipsum. We have talked about the Primo. We have talked about the CRV Honda. We have talked about the Suzuki Escudo. Now all those cars I think I've seen the Ipsum, I've seen the CRV Honda, but I've not yet seen a Suzuki Escudo on the road. Why? Because majority of the Suzuki Escudos are driven by old people. Bantu bakadde. Ata bakadde tebatambula nnyo. You get. So at 6 million and below, you can also get a Toyota Progress. Now, contrary to what people say, the Progress is actually a good car if maintained by the right people. Give it service at the right time, fix the electronics when they break down, drive it the right way. You get, but of course it has more power. It also consumes quite some car fuel. So, but you can also get that at 6 and below millions. You can get a Volkswagen Golf 4. The Golf 4. Now, I'm not talking about any other Golf because the Golf 4 is kind of current. Okay? So, often a Golf 4. But like I've always recommended to you guys, as if in your gearbox, like Mercedes Benz, Golf, BMW, those cars that have gearboxes that fail a lot, buy manuals whenever you can. The Golf 4 is actually quite reliable as a car, but also buy manual only if you're going to drive your car for quite some time. But you plan to drive it for a very long time, you buy manual. But the Golf 4, you can also get it at 6 million and below in good condition. You need to check the gearbox a lot because there's a motor has a gearbox. Yeah, you can get it in good number plate, good interior, good body. Yeah, you can get that Volkswagen. You can also get a C200, not compressor though. The first generation of the C200, the second generation, because there are 2 generations before the compressor. You can get the second generation at 6 million and below. Yeah, also in good condition. But like I said, the Golfs and the Benz and the BMWs of this world in Uganda, their biggest problem is the gearbox. If they are automatic, the gearboxes break down quite much. So always remember that. 6 million. Let me go back to the list. The cars you can get in Uganda at 6 million and below. But of course, these are used on Ugandan roads. We have talked about the Toyota RAV4. We have talked about the Ipsum. And with the RAV4, you can even get it higher. But you can also get one at 6 million, and even below you can even get it at 5. I've talked about the Ipsum, which can go as low as 4.5, still in drivable condition. Drivable condition doesn't mean perfect. No. Drivable condition means that you can drive for even a month from the time you bought it without fixing anything. There are people that have rugezi. I talked about the Primo, then I talked about the CRV Honda, then I talked about the Suzuki Escudo, then I talked about the Volkswagen Golf 4, then I talked about the Mercedes-Benz C200 second generation, even the first generation, 6 million and below, you can get it. Talk about the Toyota Sienta. I actually have a review of the Sienta still, one of the very first reviews I did in this channel. You can also go and check it out. But the Toyota Sienta is 1.5. It has 7 seats. It has abantu mukaga in the back. So it's quite nice. It's a very nice car. And the Toyota Sienta consumes fuel very well. It also has a CVT gearbox like this, it also has a CVT in gearbox like the Ractis. The CVT gearbox, by the way, is in many cars on Uganda Road. It's in the Rumion, it's in the Fielder. Majority of those new cars, the new models, they have CVTs, and we're going to be seeing a lot of CVTs on Ugandan roads. Now, one thing you need to understand is that the CVT gearbox is should it break down, it's very expensive to replace. 6 million and above, 4 million and above, depending on where you buy and the scarcity of the gearboxes. Repairing it is almost next to impossible because Ugandan mechanics don't know how to fix that gearbox. 6 million and below. Kakati. Someone has asked me a question here. Is it advisable to buy a car at 6 million and below from the bonds? We buy it over timber? No. If they sell to you a car in that car bond at 6 million, buy a million Why? Because if a person is selling to you a car at 6 million in the car bond, you need to account for parking because they pay for parking day and night in those bonds. Because those cars don't belong to the bond owner. Those cars belong to people, brokers, and people like me. And the reason why people take those cars to the bonds, it's because people like you and me think that when you go to those blue bonds, you'll get a better offer on a car. On the contrary, you get a bad deal every time. You get the car they sell to you at 6 million, you should actually be buying it at 4.5 or 4 million most of the times, because that's how much they buy it from the original owners. Now the person buys a car at 4 million from the original owner, packs it in the bond, and says it's being sold at 7 million, so that when you come and bargain, you end at 6 million and take it. So no, I don't advise that you go to the bonds to buy a car that you're going to buy 6 million and below. I don't. I would recommend that if you're going to buy a car that is cheap, look for people, real owners. Look for Arthur, look for Stuart, yeah, look for Nicholas, look for individuals that are selling their cars. That's where you get a good deal, always. So whenever you're buying a cheap car, always remember that. Don't go to the bonds. So Starlet, yeah, I'm going to talk about that. So I think I've answered. No, I was talking about the Sienta. The Sienta has a 1.5cc engine. It's automatic. Of course, I've not seen a manual Sienta. And it takes 7 people in total. But the engine is actually not that strong, that when they say it's a 7-seater, when they say it's a 7-seater, you know Japanese are small people. So when they created this Sienta, they created it for fairly small people. So you can't get people that are big, 100 kilos, and you put 7 people in there and you think it will not struggle. That's about 700 kilograms. You get, because majority of these cars are created to carry around a ton. That's 1,000 kilograms. You get. So I would recommend that you normally give it half of the capacity. So if a Sienta is 1.5cc and my car is 1.5cc, and they are telling you that that car can carry 7 people, and they are telling you that the same engine in my car is carrying 5 people, something is off. You get. So most people that have bought it as a family car because it has more space, yeah, and which is good. But I would not recommend that you put full-size human beings, very, very heavy, in the Sienta. It will not be fair for the car. Either way, nefa, or for the gearbox, or for the engine, you have to blame yourself. Hope I've answered you. But it's a good car. You can buy it, and you can buy it at around 14, a good one, 14 million. Because right now, like I told you last time, cars are expensive. It's a Paso that used to cost around 13 million in the bond. In the bond in 2020 now costs about 22 million. So you need to understand that cars are quite expensive. So even the people that have used cars are selling them expensively, because when he sells you his car, he will have to replace it. You get. So I'm seeing another Corolla. Let me let that guy enter. That's the Corolla I'm driving. Oh, actually, that one is a new model. The Corolla in front of me is a 2007 model. That one, 2006, 2007 model. I'm driving a 2001. Yeah, and that one consumes better. It has better consumption. So if you find it somewhere and they are selling it to you, don't even look at the number plate. If it has a good engine and a good gearbox, just buy. That's a 2006, 2007 model. It's even better than mine. Yeah. So and the Corollas are quite many now on the market. Yeah. So we have talked about cars that you can buy with 6 million or below, and we have talked about Toyota RAV4. We have talked about Toyota Ipsum. We have talked about the Primo. We have talked about the Honda CR-V. We have talked about the Suzuki Escudo. We have talked about did I say Primo? Yeah. And then we have talked about, why am I forgetting? Yeah, I think have I covered all of them? Yeah, I said you can also buy a Volkswagen Golf 4. Yeah. You can also buy Mercedes-Benz C200, the second or first generation. Yeah. You can also buy a Volkswagen Beetle. Zetwaitanga Chikere Edda. Yeah, thank you Danstorm for following. You can also buy a Volkswagen Beetle. The ladies like the Beetles too much. You can also buy a Beetle and you enjoy it. You can actually go buy also a Golf 3. Now the Beetle is between 5 and 6 million, 7 million, 8 million, depending on where you buy it, the time you bought it and who you're buying it from. You can buy a Toyota Vista as well. You can buy a Toyota Vista. Now the Vista has two versions. They have a saloon version. They also have an estate version that the Americans call the station wagon. You can also buy that car. At 6 million or below, you can also get a Mark II Musota. I wouldn't recommend that you buy a Mark II Grand at that money. You can buy a Toyota Mark II Musota. Yeah. Those are cars you will get at 5 to 6 million. I'm later going to come down up to 2.5 million. Yeah, so you can get a Toyota Vista. If I see a Vista, I'll show you, because the Vistas are not so common, but they're also very reliable. You can also get it was coming to my head. By the way, you can also buy a Harrier at 6 million. Talk about those cars, the overdrive from the North and South Sudan. Abana bazikomyawo ne bazikuba kalangi ne batuseera emigangatika. Yeah, Ibra, I've actually not found someone that actually bought a car that came from South Sudan, but I think the solution is simple: inspection. No one will ever give you a bad car if you do your inspection properly, your pre-purchase inspection. Yeah, the solution is inspection. Yeah, so you can also you can get a Harrier at 6 million, by the way. You can buy a Harrier at 6 million. Now, which Harrier can you buy at 6 million? It will be a 3.0cc that drinks fuel like it's drinking water. In your 3.0cc, you can get it. People look for buyers for those cars in Atigabalaba. Sometimes you can even get a 2.2cc, 2.4 or 2.2cc version of the Harrier, the old models though. Yeah, you can get those cars. You can get a Harrier, by the way, at 6 million. It's not very common. How would you get it? It so happens that someone abera atunda Harrier yenga ajagala million mwendo oba 10 nabu ajigula. Boabura ajigulu gwe no janga, you have 6 million in cash. When you have your 6 million, come with your 6 million in cash, bwazira bakobwa ati ngekizibu kyalaba kigwa, they get your money and go. So you can also get a Toyota Harrier. You can actually also get a Toyota waliwo kimotoka kibayita kigaya kibi. Kimotoka kibi kirabika bubi nnyo. Kiringa Ipsum. It also seats about 6 people. Yeah, kimotoka kibi. It's like when the guys were in the factory, their boss had given them a deadline to develop a car, and their boss came back before they could. So they created the Toyota Gaia very quickly, so that the boss finds the car done. That's in my mind though. Yeah, and but you can also get a Toyota Gaia, the same price as Toyota Ipsum. You can get it at 5, 6, 4.5, yeah, depending on where you buy it. After 10 million, can one get a Mark II Grand? Yes, you can get a Mark II Grand in very good condition at 10 million. Yes, you can. And at 6 and below million, you can also get a Subaru Forester. You can get a Subaru Forester. Okay? I can't guarantee that the condition will be very good, but you can get a Forester. And it will also have a fairly good number plate. You can get a Subaru Forester. At 6 million, you can also get a Ractis petrol. I'm very specific because the diesel ones actually have resale value. The diesel ones have resale value. It is the petrol ones that have no resale value. That's why you can get the Ractis at 6 million. Sirimu kuvuruga moroka ya muntu yonna, but these are closed. But that's a fact. Started I'm coming. Mr. Tarzan. Hi, Mr. Lucius. Thank you guys for being here. So you can get a Ractis at 6 million, but it will be the petrol. One thing you need to know about the Ractis in petrol, So it's important that you understand that. Just a moment. So you can get all those cars that I've talked about. You can get a Mazda Demio in a very good number plate. Someone brought to me a Mazda Demio UBA and he wanted 5.5. But of course, if you get Mazda Demios cheaply, it means it has a problem most of the times. And like I said, cars like Mazdas, BMWs, for them it does not matter how good you maintain. I think they just have their factory defaults. They have factory failures. So you need to understand that. For you to avoid problems, so hi Arthur, hi Phil, thanks for the show. I need a Toyota Corolla like yours at 12 million. Yes, you can get it. You can get it. Inspection. You can get it. You can even get it at less and it will still be in very good condition. Normally I tell you, if you have a budget of 12 million, buy a car at 10. So that is the 2. You use the 2 to put it to the standard you want it. I hope I'm quite clear. So at 6 million and below, the cars we have talked about, RAV4, Ipsum, Gaia, Primo, we have talked about Harrier, CRV Honda, Suzuki Escudo, we have talked about Primo as well, Tida Nissan. I don't want to misadvise you. I don't want to tell you not to buy Nissans. But like I say, I try to be as realistic as possible. That I try to be as specific as possible and tell you that whenever you want to buy a car, okay, I'm going to answer that question not today, but I'm going to make sure I answer that question probably tomorrow. Okay, let me answer that question tomorrow. So like I said, if you want to buy a certain car and you're not very rich and there is a Toyota alternative, buy the Toyota. Always buy that car only if you don't have a Toyota alternative. Only if you don't have a Toyota alternative. Only if you don't have a Toyota alternative. You get what I'm saying? But if there is a Toyota alternative and you can afford it, buy that one. Because Toyota is normally more expensive than the Nissan or Mitsubishi versions, or even the Mazda or the Mercedes-Benz or any car. You see, there is a Toyota Crown which is 2.5cc. The Benz is much more comfortable than the Crown, but the Crown is much more expensive and has more resale value than the Benz. You get, it's not accidental. So the other car we said you can even buy a Toyota Harrier at 6 million. It will be though the 3.0cc which consumes a lot of fuel. You can get of course the Harrier will also be an old model. You can get see, my Samsung misbehaves and sometimes it wants to overheat. So it will not overheat on my watch. Yeah. So just a moment, let me fix this. And I'll tell you that I think that's the reason reason why Samsungs zibaddenga So we have talked about Mark II Grand as well. You can get it. No, not the Grand, the Musota. You can get the Musota, which came before the Grand. Of course, the Grand, you can get it starting at 8 million. And then someone has asked me if you can get a Toyota Corolla like mine at 12 million. You can actually even get it at less than 12. We also talked about the Subaru Forester. You can get it at 6 million and below, depending on the condition. Yeah. Of course, there are cars that you cannot get at 6 million and below. That if you find it, either the person has a very big problem, which is the problem is normally the brain capacity, because there are cars that even brokers buy at 7 million and above. So you get. So now we are going lower. Cars you can get at 5 million and below. 6 million to Vudeyo. Of course, some of the cars that I've mentioned you can get at 5 million and below, others you can't. At 6 million, I did not talk about the Toyota Raum, the first generation, the old model, that you can get at 6 million and below, depending on the condition. Don't buy a Raum that is beyond 7 million. If you do, you're throwing away money, because no one will buy it from you at that amount. Now, the person that wanted to buy a Toyota that is like mine, you can also get, there's one that is called a Belter. The Belter is almost the same as my car. You can also buy that one. It's also good. So cars that you can get at 5 million and below, you can get a Primo still, Ipsum still, the other ugly car called the Gaia. Yeah. Still you can get a RAV4. Okay. Now, these are the cars I've not yet mentioned. You can get Toyota Chivina, Corona, that one, everyone knows it, half of full light. Of course, you can also get it at 6 million, but the roof price for the Toyota Corona Chivina is 6 million. That's what I need you to have that in my mind, in your mind, that neweba nunje etya Chivina, that's already gulako million omukaga. Montege, neweba nunje etya neweba number ampi etya. So Toyota Chivina, that's the first. And I tell you normally that whenever things go bad, the one car I would think about would be that one. Why? Because it's literally, you can drive it in a full for a year and it never breaks down. You get. The other car you can buy at 5 and less money would be, there is a car called the Toyota G2 Touring. I hope you know it. The resale value for that car went down because it was replaced by the Probox. When the Probox came on the market, the G2 Touring lost resale value. So you can get the G2 Touring and it will be in good condition still. Yeah. You can also get the Caldina. Now the Caldina is like the estate version of the Toyota Chivina Corona. Yeah, but you can get the Caldina 5 million or less. Sometimes you can get, now the cars I'm talking about, you can even get them at as low as 3.5. Sometimes as low as 3 million. Sometimes as low as 2.5, depending on where you look, depending on when you're buying, from whom you're buying, the condition of the car. The Beetle service is like the normal Golf service. There is nothing special. The engine you'll find in the Beetle, you'll find that it can also go to the Mark II, to the Golf Mark IV or Mark III. You get it's literally the normal Golf service. Yeah. So you can get at 5 and below, you can still get a Golf 4. You can get a Golf 3. The Golf 2 now, Golf 2s are very rare and people are almost treating them like vintage. So they are quite expensive. But Golf 3, not yet. So you can get a Golf 3. You can get a Toyota Chikumi. The first generation of my Corolla is called a Chikumi. Now the person that came to me a few days ago, I recommended, because he currently has 3 million cash. So I was telling him, I don't recommend people that have small money to actually go and get a motorcar kubanja. Don't borrow. Don't get a car on credit because you have small money. The fact that you have 3 million you have collected for some time, the fact is that it will take you some time for you to collect more money. So me, I normally recommend that if you have small money, buy a car cash. Go away with your car, go away with your logbook, so that any other money you can get, you start fixing the things that need to be fixed. Because even when you buy a car on loan thinking it's in better condition, it will still have things you will have to fix. So it's better you buy a car that is a little cheaper in your budget, under your budget, and use the remaining money to try and fix it. So the Toyota Chikumi is one car that I recommended. Chikumi Tefa. That car doesn't die. And it's one car that you'll find a man that comes from Barara and they want a Chikumi. Why? Because they know it in history that the Chikumi has been a very reliable car. So you can buy a Chikumi as well. Terios here. Don't buy a Terios. I've just seen a Terios that is parked there. It has been parked there for 2 weeks. I think the owner gave up. The owner gave up. So you can get a G Touring, you can get a Caldina, you can get a Chikumi, you can get a Chivina. Okay? And they'll still be in good condition though. Now, all the cars that you're going to buy at that amount, at the small amount, I recommend that you only buy Toyotas. Because the Moroccan car, the Moroccan soboro kufanga neche food teriya yachubira ndichisoboro kufa. So you need to have a car that is familiar in the market, that mechanics know how to start fixing, and that's a Toyota. If you're going to buy any car low budget, buy a Toyota. Now you can drive a Golf, but Golf mechanics are thieves from my experience. Babi, I'm talking as a person that has driven a Golf mechanic. Now the G Touring yao karaba kakamotoka, that's a G Touring. Businessmen from a long time ago used to drive them. Chikumi hiyo, the blue one. Then and obajita Corona, the first generation of Chivina. That's a Corona. That one, katneche chikorona, osobora kuchigura. Some of us call it chiyenje. Chiyenje. Kat chiyenje yosobora nayo kujigura at less than 5 million. Sometimes you can even buy it at 2. So it's important that you know, buy it in drivable condition. Ngategenda kutawanya, by the way. Yeah. Then, of course, someone has been probing me to talk about the Starlet. The Starlet is also among these cars. So surprisingly, for the guys that have a Gama and Bakuba Corolla yang emas, katingera take muka SC. Woo! This car there is called the Mitsubishi Chariot. Avoid it at all costs. If you see a Chariot, majority of the times in Geriku Kubo, it has a Toyota engine. Kati. That's a Pro Box. You see that Pro Box in Bokade Wayo AU? That one is about 12 to 14 million. And this man is an idiot. Apparently he's parking in the road trying to sell soap. But like Council Yunus said, road rage is bad. So simunyeze, someone told me excitement when you have your family in the car is bad. So I did not get excited. I need a high masculine car like Land Cruiser. Need recommendation for Hustler. Maximum budget 15 million. Of course, 15 million. Of course, you look at the Land Cruiser. You can get the Prado or the other Land Cruiser, but they are both Prados though. I think it's just the versions that change. Both of them you can get at 15. naye olina kujja nga teweeronda ki nga teweeronda number plate. You need to know that. Tojja kujja ogamba njagala Land Cruiser ku $15,000. Belter is hard to find. No, actually Belter is not hard to find. It's just that they are not common. When a car is not common, you'll find that even people that sell it are not there because it's not everywhere. Even the Corolla, my Corolla is not very common. It's not easy to find it because they are not so common. Of course they are there on the road, but whoever has it, okay. And most of the people that sell their Corollas sell them because they have problems. They don't sell them because they want. It's one of the most reliable cars I've ever driven. You get. Toyota spare for Toyota Chikumi is there, my brother, and it's actually like their I'm not a joking subject. That's why I love my car Corolla Katinkendeza, because the room is cold already. So now we are just enjoying the you know what I'm talking about. Can I get a Subaru Impreza? Yes, you can also get a Subaru Impreza at 6 million, sometimes even below. Yeah, sometimes even below, but you have to inspect. Like I tell you, pre-purchase inspection is very important because it's like when you're going to buy land, make sure you do your due diligence, or they make good approaching or you get what I'm saying. So okay, Belter. What about the Corolla Verso? The Corolla Verso is not very common, but one thing you need to ask when you find those uncommon cars that look like the common ones, you ask which car does it share spare parts with, because normally Toyotas are reliable, but the problem will come if you buy a car which doesn't share spare parts with any car. Now you see my Corolla shares spares with Toyota Wish, it shares spares with Toyota Fielder, it shares spares with Toyota Alex. See that so many cars share the same spare parts, so it's very hard to go to the market and spare takorachi ngatali yo. Yeah, so Land Cruiser, of course you can get a Land Cruiser at 15 million, but like I said, diesel cars inspect a lot because the high Martha. Yeah, so as a motor case is a diesel or inspecting ennyo to avoid getting problems, because they are very expensive. Once they start breaking down, they are very expensive to maintain. So we are talking about cars that you can get at very little money, and I talked about 6 million, and we have already talked about, let me just go through the list. Remember, you can remind me in the comment section so that even the people that were not here can see them. If you remember the cars, you can just type them out. The person that has not seen, and they see what we have talked about. So let me just go through them. Cars you can get at 6 million or below. You can get a Toyota RAV4 at 6 million or below. Sometimes it can go as low as 4.5. You can also get, like I said, you guys, I drive 85 kilometers a day in my Corolla. You see the road jam pitako? Yeah, Katindimuka SC. So Toyota RAV4, we have talked about Toyota Harrier old model, but most likely you may get the 3000cc, which is a fuel guzzler. You can get a Toyota Ipsum in very good condition at 6 million. 6 million Ipsum inakupa kumpinga mpya. You can get a Toyota Primo. There is this ugly car that I talked about, the Toyota Gaia. Of course, it's almost like the Ipsum. You can get a Honda CR-V, also in good condition. You can get a Suzuki Escudo, also in good condition. Okay. We said you can get a Volkswagen Golf 4 in good condition. You can get a Mercedes-Benz C200 in good condition. Of course, the first and second generation, not the compressor. Compressor, you'll get it at 8 million and above. Yeah. So you see the person that has been asking about the Land Cruiser. There is that Land Cruiser that is coming down. That one is a UAL. That one, I think you could even buy it at 12. Yeah, you could even buy it at 12. But inspection, don't forget that. Yeah. So we have talked about the Golf 3, of course. The Golf 3, I said the Golf 3 is a little cheaper than the Golf 4. Tebanagifula vintage. The Golf 2, kati abantu bagivuganga vintage. So yinza obutagifuna mu sente zaffe. I talked about the G Touring, katoro 2 million tano and below. Now you people, I want you to know that the cars I'm talking about, you'll buy it and drive it ngate kutawanya. That one I can guarantee. You'll buy the car, drive it ngate kutawanya. Nganze bwemuka ka Corona kange mukalapa. Yeah. So you'll buy it, drive it, ereme kutawanya at all. I hope you get what I'm saying. So 5 million below, you can get a Toyota Corona Chivina. You can also get a Primo, the one in front of us. Mini Coopers, leave the Mini Coopers alone. Don't buy a Mini Cooper. Now, Mini Coopers have one big problem. The cooling system. Kansoyon told me he has a sister that had a Mini Cooper. But I've talked to like 4 mechanics and they confirm the Mini Cooper has a problem with the radiator system. It never actually gets fixed until you sell the car. It keeps breaking down, so you need to understand that. So Mini Cooper yes on your way. I hope I'm clear. We talked about Caldina. You can also get the Toyota Caldina. You can also get a Toyota Chikumi, good condition. There is a Toyota Corona. People are quiet as if they are spoiling some things. I know. So the Toyota Corona, the first generation, yeah, all those cars by the you don't go beyond 6 million. Okay, and if you come at a good time, you can even get them lower. We also talked about the Toyota Starlet. Now the Starlet, they have versions. There is a normal Starlet. There is the Starlet Glanza. Now the Glanza is sexy, and the Glanza has higher resale value because it's sexy. It looks better. And you need to also understand there is a Toyota Corolla 2, the older Corolla, of course, that looks like the Starlet. It also has Anti tuli mumbina. Okay. Anti tuli. Okay. So there's a Corolla 2 that looks like a Starlet. I know you guys have seen it before. It actually comes out of a Corsa. I have not talked about the Toyota Corsa. The Toyota Corsa also, you can get it at 6 million and below. And when I was starting this broadcast, I said I have a friend of mine who is selling his Toyota Corsa. Yeah, he's selling his Toyota Corsa at 6 million. It's in very good condition. But like I said, bobo ina million mukaga and below, tojanga weronda. Actually, if you have 10 million and below, if you're kweronda byesonyiwe, you don't come saying I have my 10 million now, simanya now I want a wish. 10 million in the car market even before today was not big money. If you have number plate byesonyiwe, look for a car that is in good condition, one that me I drive a UAM, and trust me, 85 kilometers every day. And I've never once gotten stuck on the road. You get? And I do maintenance, fixing. Put it them account and I fix it. One thing, when I was telling you guys about new cars, the one advantage of new cars, that's the other advantage. But me, I found that it's not really worth it. But those things can actually be fixed if I decided to invest my time and money. I would get this car very quiet. You get? Uganda wange ubera wala ewaka waka ate kati gwe Vianney, you are a man like me. You are a man. A home is a home. You get? But I actually live in a very organized environment. That's why I went that far. I think you see the beauty. You see the beauty in this area. We get fresh air, plenty of fresh air. Also, Tetuina Babiba Matuga. That's why my Corolla is safe. Also, where I live, there is still affordable land. You can still buy plots at 10, 12 million at Enga Chapa. The day you buy is when you get your land title and transfer forms. I hope you know. So, and then there are plots 50 by 100. 20 by 20. You get, now I'm going up. And my Corolla is going uphill even in SC. Hey bro, thank you very much. Thank you for the information. It's always a pleasure. Kakati wano wetandikiro gamba abagala okumpereza ka airtime mukaweereze. Abagala okuweereza ka sente ndieko tugenda ingira weekend. Osobola okumpa ka sente nendyako. If I'm really doing a good job, osobola okaweereza ku number yange yesimu nange ne yagala. Yeah. So you guys, I think I've covered almost all cars. Inspection. Even by the way, when you're buying cars, also you need to avoid cars that are turbocharged. Avoid cars that have turbos. And by the way, you people that are saying I live far, look at the electricity. You know what? But I drive this distance every day. Corolla can get a car. Where Corolla yang? You know, kujang when I sent him pity. Kati emo sekachi. You guys that are abroad ngamwina okusente ziguleta kamugule, because we muna alwawo muna ja 2024 mujja kuba mugule yeyo nakasongola nga je mwina okugula ettaka, because tujja tukanga naffe tuseera sebo. Yeah, so one thing I like about places like this where we live, they are not congested. You don't find a slum. Also neighborhoods are refined. The people that live there are quite refined. Yeah. So and by the way, this is not far. The only thing that makes our place look far is the transport system. I mean tarmac. But because that's why it seems like it's far. Yeah. And like I said, don't buy a car if you don't need it. Like me, I hope now you realize that I need the car, because we have driven for like 5 kilometers now. And have you guys seen, you have seen now, that's one border. Have you seen a taxi inside? Have you seen a border? Like, you have not even seen 5 of them. You have so far seen 1. You get, But very good environment though, fresh air, a lot of fresh air. Yeah. So kati Martha, ladies like you, if you're not married, tugenda bawa sanganga tubalete no mbyaro. Yeah, we bring you to the village. But also the living standards of living in places like this are not high at all. So you find that omuntu omulala kya saving amu transport oyina watch saving ile walala. You get, yeah. And the other thing, that my place actually has 3 roads. There is a road that most people use, which I find to have a lot of potholes. Now me, I use this one because it's fairly okay. Potholes temuli nyingi because the cars that use this road are very few. So all that is math. Ateno nkube ndobo ngeri jendi mu manual. The guys that drive manual cars, you know what ndobo means. When you do ndobo, you save some car fuel also. You get. Yeah, someone else put a comment here. Your game park. It looks like a game park because we are driving. But you know, but people have big pieces of land. They have big pieces of land. You find someone having an acre. You find someone having half acre. So you'll find a place normally in Kampala where they're like 500 people. They're like about 50 people. You get. So we are approaching one of the towns, the towns, and you people have made you to Uganda. When would you have come this way? Yeah. To also realize that isn't that a RAV4, guys? I think that's a RAV4. Hey, Martha, wagenda kuwasaba kutwala eri Nakasongola. You gwedawo wakane. You're going to go to Nakasongola. I think tomorrow I'll also talk about cars that you can get at 10 million and below. I think that's where most of you guys are looking at, to buy a car at 10 million and below. We are in our town. Ready? Eh? The other one is done. Eh? Enough? Yeah. So this is our Katauni. People live this way, by the way. The person that has said this is a game park. People live this way. And to Inanero is easily. You see the people that were asking about the lorry business. A place that has 3 lorries packed. Those guys are making money daily. So you guys give me questions. Give me questions so that I answer them. Where do you live? We want plots. I live in Matuga. Yeah, but not on the main road though. Of course, when I was buying, Stenson, Julius, Mufuruzenz and Mukataga. By the way, we even have concerts. You see that banner there? Let me try to zoom in. You see there is a banner near the lorry. We even have concerts this way, Momodao. So me, I live in Matuga. For the guys that are looking to buy plots, Matuga is Bombo Road, and Bombo Road is much more affordable than Gayaza Road. Much more affordable than Mitiana Road. Okay, much more affordable than Masaka Road. Much more affordable than Ginger Road, but it has less jam. That's why me normally I set off at 6 a.m. 6:30, and by 7:30 I'm in town. Primo model 2005. Yeah, that one you can get for between 15 million and above. You can even get a 13 depending on the number plate. Yeah, and above. And it's very reliable. Primo is Primo. Whether in new models or old models, it's actually very reliable. Tezifanazo. But that model 2005, between 13 and above, depending on which model you buy. And if it's in the bond, it can actually go up to 35 and 45 million. So it's also a good car. The Impreza, I said you can get the Impreza, but I also said that avoid buying cars that have turbos, because all cars that have turbos, the turbo is the first problem you will face. Turbos break down, and turbos are very expensive to replace. So buy cars that don't have turbos, and then you will enjoy. Tuli mustense ni munange. Julius banange. No, this is not Buwambo, but Buwambo is our neighbor. Buwambo is next to where we are. Yeah, we are just in the neighborhood of Buwambo, but this is not Buwambo though. So so the Subaru Impreza, you can get it, but like I said, if you want a Subaru, for example, at 6 million, and you see a Subaru, but you figure in your mind that there is a Toyota alternative for that car, buy the Toyota alternative always, because the model is really cheap. You should always, the model is really cheap. So when you're buying a cheap car, always buy the reliable model or the reliable type, and the reliable type in Uganda is Toyota. So I wouldn't recommend that you buy a Golf at 6 million if there is a Toyota alternative in the same condition. You get why? If you drive a Toyota, you can call a mechanic but if you drive a Mercedes Benz, my brother, you will struggle. So normally it ends in tears for the guys that come this way. I'm seated bone. Can't hey Martha, love will take you there. Love will take you far. Love will take you far. You be there and your man tells you we need to get in Akasongol. The Chikumi is just going. By the way, the Chikumi is the first generation of my car. That's the Corolla like mine. Before this one, they made that Corolla. Then they made for 6 million and below. I did not talk about the Corolla Chikumi Kumi. The Chikumi Kumi almost looks like a Primo, but it's not a Primo. I also did not talk about there is this one. There is a Sprinter as well. I didn't talk about the Toyota Ceres, the Toyota Marino. I'm not in Kawempe, Martha. Hey, I've driven. You see, I've broadcasted for more than an hour and I've been driving since then. So it's not in Kawempe. This is in Matuga. So you can get a Ceres, you can get a Marino, 6 million and below. Of course, we talked about the Starlet, but I say don't buy a car that has a turbo. There is this car that looks like a Primo. What is this called? What is it called? Toyota what? When I remember, I'll talk about it. You can also get it at 6. There's so many cars you can get at 6 million and below, and you'll actually enjoy driving them. Don't let anyone scare you that cars that are below. Let me just put on my light. Today you have not seen my face, and I'm quite sure that you guys want to. Let me just give myself some color light here so you can look at my face. So they are quite there are many cars that you can get at that amount, and you would still enjoy driving it. So don't let anyone lie to you. Sometime back you were recommending a Vitz old model. How does it differ from its newer models? Okay, the first difference between the Vitz new model and the older model, see, yeah, and the older model is that the older model of the Vitz is much more reliable than the new model, hands down. That's why when someone has 10 million and they are selling to him a new model, Vitz mugamba togula gendo guleka old model because kamotoka kalwanyi. You get no cold beer. There are beers around, but I don't drink, surprisingly. I like the smell of beer, but I don't drink beer. Where is it even nangi? We have lodges here. I told you we even have concerts, by the way. We have concerts. RAV4 short, yes, at 6 million you can get. You can even get the long. The old model is much more reliable, but the difference is that the other new model is bigger, so it looks sexier, and okay, just looks. It will definitely have a bigger boot. It has bigger space for passengers than the old model. But the old model is much more reliable, especially Wogamba 1.3cc. Your engine is 2NZ, the Vitz is 1.3cc. It is very reliable. Okay? Ate boboji sanze 1.5 yogenda also jivugana emyaka asatu. Yet the Vitz new models, by the way, notice the Vitz new models came at a time when the U80 number plate was there. But I'm sure you can look for Vitz new model in the same number plate. Vitz new model is a number yozava dako kubo. Nenga you can find a Vitz old model UAN ngeri kukubo ngate tambula bulungi. You get what I'm saying? So the Vitz old model is reliable, but don't buy the Vitz that has a 1000cc or buy 1.0. Yeah. After I'm living in PG and working in Tinder, so between Spacio new model and Primo 2005, what do you recommend? They are both, by the way, they are both good cars. They are both good cars. Okay, it's a model cars on being nungi Primo ne RAV4 ne Spacio. They are both good cars. Now it depends on what you want to use the car for. The one thing you need to know, Katiguabere MPG, I'm thinking there are definitely days where you can fetch water. Wabato ina tanka waka. So bobango genda kuchima kumazi, I would recommend the Spacio because also register maybe sometimes you can even put a tank. I don't know if you get that. You can even put a tank mobutu, which with the Primo you're limited. So the Spacio awewe ebe kubawo. But respect wise Primo area nyeswago kusinga Spacio. You get kanzile mumbalage kubo mulabe gempaka yafe. Yeah, but I hope I'm being clear. Both cars are very reliable, by the way. Emorokazo nato inza kubudwa makanika azikanika. Fuel wise they are okujako fuel wise, but most Spacios are 1.8cc and even Primos are 1.8cc. You get the biggest difference. A Chilala, you can find a Spacio that has 7 seats, but you can't find a Primo that has 7 seats. So esobola okusanga Primo ngetwala abantu bangi okusinga ki. Osobola okusanga Spacio ngetwala abantu bangi okusinga ki. Okusinga Primo. Spacio so eyinzo chikuba bwoba osobola okufuna eyina 7 seats. I hope I'm clear. Kati ekirala kyogenda okutunuulira nti bwoba osobola okufuna space ye 1.5cc awo batogenda mu Primo oba Primo Jason oba Primo 1.5cc tezirabika zisinga ziri 1.8 na 2.0. I also forgot to tell you guys temugula emotoka eziri mu D4 engine. D4 engines ziboola amafuta and sometimes fuel you may run out of fuel nga woolika petrol station akaliwo sitoto oba shell and then you'll face some problems. So tugule emotoka erimu engine ya D4 ebe emotoka ki you get. So it's important that you know that kat Spacio and Primo bwoba comparing, just compare the use. Bwoba oyagala swaga gula Primo, bwoba oyagala emotoka nga bwoba ere waka ku weekend empigi nga oyagala okukima ku mazzi bidomola begin ne Spacio. Bwoba osobola ofuna Spacio ya 7 seaters, then you can't compare it to the Primo bwoba oli muntu wa family. I hope that is also clear. So where is your face? I've just put it away. Mbade yarabaraga ku game park ya Fembarage where we get the fresh air from. You see the trees? Kati you people that live in Tinda, Smanya, Bukoto, you don't know, no kudono. Know. This is good environment. Yeah, but we enjoy it though. And then for people like me who have kids, you have more space for your kids to play. The environment is basically safer because there are no cars that will knock your kids down. The cars are very limited, so it's you see the neighbors are very courteous. Yeah. So always remember that. Let me put off the car SC. So there is by the way, the people that have not yet bought plots, plot is a plot is Zivayo. So let me give you my face now because of the way I think tomorrow I should take you on a tour of this place. Tomanya nyinza okuba nyirayo bachali bange nga mwagala okugula ettaka ne mujja ne mbaseera, and I show you where plots are. So I'll give you a tour. I'll do a broadcast tomorrow evening where I'm in the estate. I'm in an estate, by the way, and there are still plots, plenty of them. There is electricity, there is no national water though, but you buy tanks. You buy tanks, and tanks are actually better than national water because you buy tanks at once. No lembeka amazigo, and the tanks never run out because Uganda is a gifted place. We have water all the time. Enkube etonya nnyo. You get. So let me see the other questions before we decide to quit. And by the way, even internet is stable this way. Yeah. Noah model 2009. Gula. Basically, Noah's on Nazona you buy. Just inspect. Noah's are very reliable cars. But although people don't like 4-wheel drives, I recommend that if you're buying a Noah, buy a 4-wheel drive. Because if you go to places where it's slippery, you may get stuck. So and you don't want that to happen to you. You get. So buy the 4-wheel drive versions. Yeah. So buy the 4-wheel drives. Noah nunji nyo. Let me see. Do we have another question? Noah 2004 to Caldina. No, don't compare a Noah to Caldina. Caldina is no car to compare to any other car. Let me tell you, the only reason you should buy a Caldina is if you have no money to buy another car. That's what I'm telling you. And I'm speaking as a person that drove a Caldina for 2 years. Don't buy a Caldina if you can buy another car. Okay? Don't buy a Caldina if you can buy another car. Don't buy a Caldina if you can buy another car. Because Caldinas don't have resale value. Oyinza jigula million musanvu n'ogitunda 3. Okay? Let me see. I'm about to go. RAV4 short nakuzemu. Sometime back you were recommending nkuzemu. I hear suitable and people married in Chitugu. Yeah, webali wama mungambira. Okay guys, I have to say bye-bye. It's late and then I have to put light on myself for you guys to see me. And let me just show you the road before I say bye, so that I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you very much. It means a lot. Without you guys watching this content, it would mean nothing. Yeah. And for the guys that want to give me business, you come. I charge between 350 and 500,000 depending on the car. Okay, I sell car trackers as well at 350 including installation. Bobori muchibuga tujituosa wori, bobori wabiri wa chibuga, you pay for transport, which is not a lot. Yeah, so you can recommend your friends. Good evening, bro. Do you recommend Kanta or Isuzu used? Yes. Yes, you buy, because it's a business car. The one that wants to buy Isuzu or Kanta, you buy. It's a business car. Just make sure you check. What did you say about Spacio new model 1.8? Buy. Spacio tezina buzibu baba. Tezina buzibu. So, thank you very much, guys, for being here. I'm just waiting for a place for me to slow down. Jagala mulabe ku mayumba agali ewaffe. Mulyoke mumanyi oba mujja oba temujja bonna munaasobola okulaba. So, let me just go through the names of you guys that have been here since the beginning and in big numbers. I didn't even make an announcement, but you guys always turn up. Jakanambalage nyumbe muyoka mbasibule muyoka mulabe neighborhood wetuli ogiraba etandika okwaka eno nga tonaba nagituukako kati eno ogirabye eyo boys quarter kati njagala mbala tekuli mataala kati abo bakasangwawo be balina ennyumba embibibi kati. So you guys, you want to buy land ngo China mu sente zontono sonda kati bana basajja abazimba dempiji mu baveeko. For them, they know the secrets of living in the village. So you guys, thank you for being here. Martha, Tarzan, Kenneth, Seth, Nicholas, Stuart, Charles, Solomon, Ivan, Justus, Isaac, Dunstone, Ibra, Vianney, Lucius, Phil, Ismail, another Kenneth, okay, I think that's it. Jonathan, yeah, Emma, and Julius, Brian, yeah, I think you guys my number get there. Thank you very much for being here. I have to say bye. Kata obakasanga wewe bagana okutuguza. The what? The what? So bye bye guys, see you tomorrow. I'll give you a tour of this place so that you decide if you want to spend your money here. Ciao.